Hey guys, I got a question from another servant that says, how can I maintain order in the classroom while I present my lesson? Now, I think this is so important. A lot of us struggle with this because you want to be able to give your lesson and at the same time the kids are acting up. So the first thing I want to say is get help. I've heard of some terrible student-teacher ratios in the Coptic church and Sunday school, and I want to say that especially in Sunday school, there should be at minimum 2 servants in the room at all times, whenever possible, and more if you have a large number of kids crammed in one space. Um, if you need help, you can ask the priest, to recommend a servant to help in your room. Or let's say you're running low on servants. You can recruit some of the parents of kids in that group. Don't assume that the kids will be, uncomfortable. They can get over it. But if their behavior is getting in the way of your service, then get some help. You should not be tackling that alone. And then the other thing I want to say, it's a little bit of a red flag to me. In the question it says, while I present my lesson. And, I'm going to assume the worst here, that you really mean that you're going to stand up there and deliver it as a lecture for, 45 minutes to an hour. And I want to really caution against that. One of the best tricks I've learned is to sit down and look at the lesson from the kids' perspective and think about what the kids are doing every 10 minutes or so in the class. So if my lesson plan is for me to be speaking for an hour and for the kids to sit there quietly listening for an hour, it's unreasonable to expect that they won't pull out a phone or start side conversation. It's just, even we in sermons, how many sermons have you sat through that are an hour long and then you manage to not do anything at all but pay perfect attention for the full hour, didn't look at anybody else, didn't daydream about anything else? It's just not a realistic ask. So one of the tricks is to go ahead and write down, like, okay, so while I'm doing this, the kids are doing this. And while I'm doing this part, the kids are doing this. And that will give you a really clear idea of how much time you're expecting the kids to sit quietly and sit still in a row, how many minutes in a row, what kind of stretches you're looking at. And if the rule of thumb is about the age that they are is the length of time that they can sit still. So for teenagers, I would say 15 minutes that they can sit and be quiet for you for 15 minutes. But after that, they really need to be doing something. And why stretch it to 15, considering how short attention spans are getting? Try, offload on them some of the tasks. So some of the ways to do that are to, if you're reading something in the Bible, you're studying a chapter in the Bible, make sure that you're having different kids read different verses so that everyone is on alert. Everyone knows that they're going to have a part that they're going to have to read. Another great trick I like to use is to give them something to hold in their hands, to either take notes or to answer questions, and to stop now and then and say, okay, well, question number 2 on your sheet is this. I just gave the answer. Write it down, guys. Let's see if you know it. Anything that you can do to give them something to do that's on task is a win in your corner, for sure. Then the last thing I want to say, going back to the attention span, is to chunk up your lesson, to break it up into smaller portions. You should not be spending an hour doing one thing. Pray for 5 to 10 minutes at the top. Then maybe you tell a story or read the story in the Bible for 10 to 15 minutes. Then have them discuss a particular question. Change it up. Change what you're doing within that hour, and you'll find that the kids are a lot more likely to stay under your spell, to stay focused for the entire time. So again, get some help. Then be careful about presenting the lesson. You want to make sure that you're interacting, especially at the high school age, but really this goes for all kids. And chunk it up. Make sure that you're not doing the same thing for a long stretch of time and expecting kids to just go along with it.